So recently I was asked, does watching other artists speed paint help you draw? The short answer is simply yes, it most certainly does, but I wanted to kind of expand on the topic a little bit. When I look at others' art, I often know that I like it, but I have trouble pinpointing the things I'm most drawn to, and I especially have trouble pinpointing things that I might like to experiment with in my own work. Watching speed paints and seeing how the artists work helps me find those little details. How they draw certain objects or clothing, lighting effects and color combinations, and just the subtle details they put in that really make the drawing what it is. Like I mentioned back in my art style video, a lot of my style is combinations of things that I've seen and liked in others' work. Speed paints are where some of those ideas have come from. They're the reason I started drawing clothing seams more often, for instance, and they're the major reason I've changed how I color eyes over the past few years. Little things that might not have any attention paid to it, but it does its job of making the drawing pop just that little bit more. Watching videos has also helped some skills too. I used to refuse to shade things because I didn't fully understand how to make it look nice, so any intense lighting effects were out of the question. When I started watching speed paints, lighting was the first thing that I paid attention to. Seeing how more practiced artists did it helped me understand better than any explanation could. I'm a very visual and hands-on learner, so seeing it actually visualized made me a lot less nervous to implement it in my own work. And as some of you have probably noticed, glow effects are now one of my favorite things to use in my drawings, even if I still have trouble with making things too dark. I've watched videos just to understand how they're doing it too. A lot of artists use painterly styles or more realistic styles in particular. The layering used in painterly styles is just fascinating to watch. And it's a style I never thought was even possible for me to do. And while I still use a cartoony style for the most part, techniques that I've learned from these videos and the layering that they use, I've used in my own work when I do lineless coloring. There's also just something calming about watching others work. Watching the process from blank page to art is just fun for me, and sometimes it helps get that creative spark going. There's been more than once that I'll be watching one and get hit with the need to draw myself. Maybe it was how they were coloring, or they were just making a cool character, or whatever music they added just pumped me up for whatever reason. So it's useful not just for learning, but for inspiration as well. Honestly, even watching my own has helped a little bit. I can go back and see little places where I can improve, and things I have missed while drawing that I can pay attention to better in the future. I would also say for myself and for other artists that it's good to see work in progress shots and speed paints, because you don't get caught up in what the final product is and how perfect it looks. You can see other artists, no matter how talented they are, started with a blank page, with a sketch. With speed paints in particular, you can see little mistakes they might go back and change, where they messed up and had to start over a million times because the line just wouldn't work out. It helps keep it realistic, helps keep you realistic, so you don't get too caught up in your own mistakes. You can say, hey, I can change it, I can make it better, I can learn from it, and I can grow from it. And seeing other artists go through that same process helps you remember that when times get tough and you get too hard on yourself. At least I know it's helped me a lot. Well, I think I've rambled enough for one day, but thanks for stopping in. Bye.